Well, I've got my rod and I've got my bait. All I've got to do is sit here and wait for the big, big fish to come my way, even if it's gonna take all day. Here, fishy, 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 here, fishy, fishy, fishy. Here, fishy, 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 here, fishy, 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 fishing off the pier.
Hey, how's it going? Hope you're all doing well. Welcome, Art Nerd. I don't know if you caught it, but that was like perfect timing on that alert. That was so good. Also, thank you for the sub. I appreciate it. Even if you are streaking. But welcome, welcome. Thanks for popping by. Popping in and popping out. But yeah. I'm just special like that. Alrighty, so today we are working on some world building again, and this time I at least planned a little bit, though I don't know how long I'm gonna go today. I think I keep like thinking in circles, and I don't know if this is just because of the way that my brain works, but I keep getting caught on like a loop in this particular bit of how my world works. And I think if I can get past this stupid thing, then maybe it'd be a little bit easier here. I'll show you what I mean in a little bit. But yeah, today we are going to be working on a map for Skatus, which is the World of Shadows in my book that I'm writing. And yeah, a map is very helpful. I'm a very visual person, so I'm very bad about knowing where things are placed exactly. I never intend these maps to be like a thing that's going to be like in the book or whatever. I feel like if I were ever to have like maps in a book that I wrote, I'd probably hire somebody, to be honest. Because I'm not very good at drawing maps, as you will probably find out very quickly. But at least I'll have a baseline so I know where things are that I can use as a reference. And they don't have to be completely accurate to where things are. I just have to have a general baseline so that I know. So if I'm like, we're heading west, that makes sense. Or we're heading south, that makes sense. And we're just keeping consistent there. I also want to make sure I kind of am keeping with the lore of the world and everything. So a map is very helpful. And I think that'll be good in continuing to work on world building and things like that. So that is the plan for today, is just getting this this map worked on. And yeah, that's the plan. And I will tell y'all, I'm not feeling 100% today. So, you know, I may have to end stream early just if I'm feeling too I may just call it. But I wanted to at least make an effort for it because, you know, it feels like an excuse to not do the world building, and I know I need to do it. I want to get it done. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. See what we can work on here. Okay. Please don't judge too harshly. I was like a baby when I drew this. So, yeah, I can't remember what everything is for a reference, but this was my very first original, I need a map. And so this is what I had. And honestly, it did the job. It's not going to be too different, honestly, from what I'm going to end up with today, probably. So it's a good start, I think. It just needs some work, so the lore makes a little bit more sense. So I think where I'm struggling with, right, is that I'm a very scientific person, which is probably obvious, but anyway, I'm a very scientific person, and my brain very much gets bothered by the fact that I'm like, I called my worlds realms because I don't really want to say that they're planets. They're not planets, because it doesn't make any sense for them to be planets, right? I kind of want it to be like its own thing, its own universe, its own little thing. There's space and there's stars and whatever, but they're not really following all the rules and the laws of thermodynamics and stuff like that. And so where you'd normally have, like, you zoom out a whole bunch and then you have the world and then you have this continent that I just showed you, and all of that. My problem with it, honestly, is just that because of the way that I wrote Skatus and Astran, is that Skatus and Astran were once one. So it's kind of this, like, yin-yang thing. And it doesn't make any sense. And this is probably the loop I keep getting stuck on. It doesn't make any sense for a planet that's like half and half, whatever the continents look like or whatever on that. It doesn't make sense for these to break apart and become their own little thing. That makes absolutely no sense. Unless we're not following planet logic. And we're just saying, hey, these are just like, this is the void of space, right? So there's like stars and stuff. There's constellations and everything. But then you have what used to be, or what is currently now, Skatus, shaped just kind of like this, and what is now Astran, shaped kind of like that. And maybe you can have kind of this, like, aftermath of what happened between it. Right, and then you get the other worlds. So you'll go to so the first world that they go to after they leave Skatus is Aerospin, which is kind of the, like, air kind of world. Which I never mapped out, and for good reason, because I didn't have a lot of good permanence in my head, but I think it's kind of like cloud layers in a way. And that's just, and they're, like, vaguely, like, in my head there were, like, rainbows connecting them or whatever, but I never talk about that. Welcome, Mountain Lou. Congratulations on being first. Rub it in Art Nerd's face. And then pat, pat, pee, pop, pop. Thank you for the head pats. I appreciate it. I just don't know how, the water one is really messing me up, I think, because the Aquan is specifically at, like, the bottom of the sea type of idea. So I think maybe the best way to show it is like that, but there is no there is no inherent surface, right? You're in that world and that's it. The best example I have is like Atlantica from Kingdom Hearts. Like you're always in the water. There is no above water, at least in Kingdom Hearts 1. Working, can't hear at the moment, but I'll be around in a bit. Alrighty. Good luck with work. I know you can't hear me. I'm wishing you luck anyway. Kind of same thing with Torino. Is that the entire thing is underground. So it's one solid thing, but if you look deeper into it, then it'd be tunnels and everything. It'd be kind of like looking at like an ant farm. Right? So you look at the ant farm and then it's got like the branches and everything. Coming off. But yeah, that'd be Torino. And then Infernia is kind of this like almost like an island or a group of islands with volcanoes in them. Something like that. I know this is really rough, but it's fine. It's just to kind of get a thought process in my head. So I think that's the best way I can describe it. This is like heavily inspired by the like online comic Cucumber Quest. I don't know if any of y'all have seen that, but that heavily inspired me at the beginnings of my writing. So anyway, I originally drafted this as like a continent on a world, but that doesn't make any sense. So we're just gonna make it like one land piece. And okay, so if we go back here, right? Was this all land? That doesn't make any sense. There was water in areas. So if we want so we'll do something like that, I guess. Let's see how I can't draw a straight line. Anyway. We take this. Flip it. Right, because we don't want it to be perfect, right? It was a bad rip. Okay. Alright. I think that works. A little bit. We'll get rid of that for a second. I need this to be a thing. Okay. That way it'll be easier to manipulate. Because I think I made my world a little more realistic than I originally wanted it to be. Like, this is fantasy. I can make it do whatever I want. It doesn't need to make sense. It's just hard to make the scientist part of my brain go to shut up. Like, things can just be cool. It's been kind of refreshing to read. Like, I know Percy Jackson is, like, not meant for my age group because I'm old. Um, But it's been kind of refreshing to read something that's not meant for my age group, but I know is like a really popular book and that people like really look up to. And to be like, okay, it is not the world's most perfect fiction. There are mistakes. There are things that like I don't agree with, and there are places where it's really, really good. It's just like, it's nice to be like, hey, it doesn't have to be perfect. Somebody's gonna like it. I also have a sketch like this for Asteran, but I will work on that another day. Not today. I do like these streams though because it like encourages me to like at least think about my book. Get the juices flowing, as it were. Because it's been a few years since I've like sat down and actually been trying to actively work on this thing. Turns out working takes a lot of your time and energy. Weird. Ah, crap. I forgot I opened my Dr. Pepper and then I didn't drink any of it. Turn up the music just a tad. Just a little quiet on my end. Let me know if that's too loud or too quiet. Because apparently what I hear is not the same as what y'all hear, even though I thought it was. I was lied to. I'm just realizing now I should have done this on a vector layer because now it's gonna look bad when I make this bigger, and I probably will make this bigger, but it's fine. I'll just do it again. It's fine. Everything's fine. This is just a sketch. And honestly, it doesn't need to look pretty. This is really just for me. This isn't going in any, like, final draft or anything. That's a little sharp. At least sharper than I wanted it to be. This also needs a revamp since I redid the clans and their names. So either way, this needed to happen. This is a good playlist. I should add it. Okay, I think we mostly got it. Well, Heidi ho, that kind of looks professional almost. But I think I want it flipped. It's time to flip it. Just because that's the way it was originally made. You know what? Maybe I will. Oh, I don't have the sketch. I don't have a picture of my Astran sketch right now. I'll have to get it later. But naturally, you're going to want something that... Oh, wait, no. Now I remember why I did that, because this is not the curve where Astran connects. Astran is supposed to connect here, so actually... Astran's supposed to connect here. I really did myself no favors with that decision. You know what? Okay, I'm gonna make it easier on myself. I am gonna get that Astran picture. There's gonna be some bumping. Sorry, guys. I've got it, like, right here. I just need to get it onto my screen. Where is it? Okay. There's the... It's all really old stuff, by the way. Like, really old. Oh, gosh. Nope. Wrong thing. Nope. Nope. There we go. Oh wait, I just found a completely different sketch. When was this? It's like shaped completely differently. Well, I don't know what that was supposed to be, but yeah. Okay. Let me just get a picture of this real quick. And get it. This is not gonna be easy. Okay. Hang on. Muting for a second. I had to move my mic. I have to move everything, actually. Where did I put my phone? Guys, I prepped for this. I was like, oh, I'm ready. I was not. I was not, in fact, ready. Sure, that's a good picture. Okay, sweet. I have to like email myself pictures because I don't know the better way to do it. We are halfway there. All right, let me move my... Actually, I don't think my mic is that bad over there. We're gonna keep the mic there for now. I think usually I don't because it's right next to the keyboard and so you'd be able to hear the clicky clacks, but for now, we'll just leave it as is. I'm not really typing today. Or at least, not as much. Okie dokie. Should have that. I'm gonna pop over here real quick just to make sure everything looks nice while I'm putting it on. Yeah, okay. I mean, it doesn't look nice, but it's fine. There we go. All right, I know that this looks like a real world place. I swear, I know this is tracing paper. It was not traced from that. It was traced off a real world place. I know it kind of looks like Australia and it kind of looks like Africa. I don't remember what I traced, but I didn't trace either of those things, if you would believe it. But anyway, I don't like this, so it's going to go. But first, we are going to... I think I'm just going to go ahead and trace this. I feel like I'm going to adjust it anyway. The sooner we can figure out how they fit together, the better. Then I don't have to do that yin-yang thing. It doesn't have to be yin-yang shaped. I don't know why I kept trying to do that. I might not even keep these rivers here, it's fine. Just draw them for now, and then we figure it out later. That's the important part. I don't think these rivers make any sense either, but that's okay. This is a fantasy world. It doesn't have to make any sense. But yeah, we want something that looks like it's been literally torn in two, so that's what I need to work on. Oops, those are rivers. Did not do a good job drawing those. I don't think that was part of the river. That was just a divide I made. So I was trying to divide it up on where the clans are, which I do want to do as well. Worry about that later. I think these rivers were like a afterthought. I was like, oh yeah, they need water here, don't they? I suppose. Which, again, is me being realistic. I could just say other things happened, but we'll figure it out. No need to worry. Wait, why does that bubble like that? That doesn't make any sense. We got lakes and everything here. That, I don't think that this one had any lakes that I missed, I think. So it had a lot of rivers. Yeah. I don't know that I ever recorded where I thought they were going to meet. Want them to be about the same size. Ugh, sneeze. What if this? Hmm. Hmm. So we're gonna hold that for now. I'm gonna draw accompanying line over here. Make it blue. This is the most important intersection here because I say multiple times this is where Asteran used to touch Skatus before the fall. Alrighty. So if we had that attached to this. It would pretty much be like that. That's a weird shape for a continent. I mean, in a way that it looks like a continent, I think. Or like a shape. I don't know. I think instead of that line, I'm actually, because this split up in a bunch of islands, I want this to split up into a bunch of islands as well. Uh, that was a full piece connected, but then fall happens, they break apart. Bam. Now it's like that, right? So now this should be like that. I'm gonna make a copy of this because, you know, just in case, but I think if we take this river and we shove it somewhere else, that'd probably be better. Maybe right there. Keep forgetting my Dr. Pepper. I have a whole Dr. Pepper and I'm not drinking it. This is a shame. Alrighty. So now it actually looks like they were once connected and then kaboom. I don't know. I don't know whether to make it more realistic or less realistic. For now, I'll just stick with this. Okay. So I don't really need to adjust SCADAs, which is the important thing. Okay. Alright, next we need to look at the locations, and unfortunately, I don't have this pulled up. Hold on. Oh, wait, I wanted, because they're going to be in a certain void. Okay, so I'm trying to position things here because SCADAs was actually curved a little compared to how I have it now. And I'd like to keep as much as possible, so then I don't have to rewrite things. Which makes my life a little easier. Okay, perfect. That's what we want. So it's more like that, but that's fine. Okay, I'm just trying to make sure everything kind of makes sense in a way. Because they're supposed to be surrounded by water, and water, I think, is where I keep running into issues. Is that if we're in a void, like our hypothetical, where does void end? And water begin, or where does water end? And we could just say it's slightly spherical. So we could argue water ends at a certain point. Yeah, we'll just say water ends at a certain point and then you fall off the edge of the earth, whatever. Who cares? I'm gonna take this. Expand it a little. Now I need to decide where things go. And jot down what are the important things. What do we need to have in these areas? Well, obviously we need an area for every one of the clans. So if I go back to my clans, I've got Loop, which we know we want to be in a snowy mountain area. So we're thinking north. Latran doesn't have an area. They actually travel between all of the other areas. They're just kind of the nomads of the group. Nomads? Is that the right word? Anyway. They don't really have an area, but we got Latran. We got Nectar. Which is supposed to be on the beach. Open are supposed to be on the rivers. Hine are on the desert islands. They are by Asteran, or at least where Asteran used to be. Oris is going to be in caves and mountains. And then Pika are going to be in deep forest. Okay. So I tried to have natural divides when I first made this. Or more or less natural divides. But some things have changed. Okay, so I'm going to call this area all of this area. That's the Hyane area. And that makes sense, right? Because if we bring back Astran, we could actually see Astran. That's where it was touching, which is kind of the point. Alright, so the northernmost area is obviously going to be loop. That makes sense. Okay, Nectar. You can't see that. No. We got this beach area here. Didn't draw it here. There is not deep forest, there's mountain ranges along here. This is pretty similar to the way I had it. And there's a secret extra thing that I didn't write down. Place for the Guardians. Okay, and then no definitive place for the Latran, but that's because they never did. Howdy, how we doing, Scribs? We are doing okay, I'd say. Making a map. Just a rough map, so I have something in my head. Also, welcome, Zombie. How are you doing today? I took this from a very rough sketch that I had for a very long time, and I'm trying to update it into something a little better. Okay, just EP already. EP already. Me too. The days just keep going. Saw you tracing it. I've been lurking for the last hour or so. I see, I see. It's a hot mess. Alrighty, so I think that's the main thing with that. Honestly, I gave everything names, and I don't really mind that they have names. Because it is kind of helpful. Hmm. Okay, so I feel like it'd make more sense to be like, okay, well, this wraps around. Umbrin is kind of a circle in the middle. In a way, if that makes sense. This is why I'm not a map maker. Okay. So the story starts here. Right there. I keep pulling up a picture and then not looking at it. Starts about here.
Rudy, you gotta draw something! Rudy,
I gotta draw something!
draw something
Right now!
Rudy, this time you really gotta draw something!
Rudy, you gotta draw something! I gotta draw something! I'm drawing! Okay, so story starts here. And then realistically, Avery has to get from here to like there. And she usually lives around here, give or take. Except this is mountain. So she's not gonna climb through mountains. Draw something. So really her path is down this way, cross the river, go over here, go down this river, all the way till you reach your destination. That's kind of the idea. And that's book one. Like, most of book one is like here to here. You're here for a little bit, then you go back here. I think for a moment we go back here, but then we go back here. You never go up here. You never go here. You never go here. You never go there. Like, book one does not explore this world at all. And honestly, I don't think any of the books will explore it in great, great detail, but that's okay. What kind of scale are we talking about? Is this continent pretty big? So, I'm not going to call it, like, a continent per se, because I feel like that's messing me up. Mentally, because then my brain goes, well, only one continent. Doesn't make any sense. So I'm kind of thinking of just, like, blobs floating in the sky. So it's not that realistic. This is the fantasy aspect of it. But yeah, unfortunately my scale ratio is not super great. I think I wrote down times for these traveling things, but I also, like, in the back of my head was like, I'm just gonna adjust the map to make it make sense later. Could be like a supercontinent, so the rest is like water, or the abyss. I don't know. Yeah, there is water, technically. I mean, because they talk about fishing and everything, so there is surrounding water, so we could argue that back when it was this, it was actually big old planet, then separated, and then did its thing. I just don't think I'm gonna think too hard about it, because that's not the point. I think, and I think me overthinking it is making it worse. And just preventing things from happening. So yeah, it could be like a supercontinent. It could be something else. But yeah, that's book one. Book two, thus far. Book two starts here. For the most part, they go up here somewhere. It's very vague where exactly they end up, but they go somewhere up here. Then they go back. And then they go all the way over here, which is kind of skipped through because the travel is not the important part. And then they go through the magical portal gate. And then they're gone. And they're not in this world for most of the time. Then we get to explore all that. The nonsense. So that's book two. I think book three is probably mostly going to be in Asteran, not in Skatus. So really, I don't even explore Skatus too much. It's just, you know, having a firm idea of what the world is like is going to be helpful. In the writing, I think. Okay, so I think I'm gonna shift gears here. drawn a bit. I think I want to, like, just brainstorm, not necessarily make it canon, but just kind of brainstorm what a world based on darkness and darkness magic and shadow magic would be like. Hang on, I'm gonna shift things over in a second. Just gotta make sure everything's working. It's not working. Oh no. Glad I checked. Did they go straight to Astran? Is that how you spell that? From Skated? Sorry if I didn't. No, that's fine. It's fine. You can spell it however you want at this point right now. I know they're weird. They're weird spellings. Oh, now I know why that didn't work, because I clicked on the wrong thing. There we go. Do they go straight to Asteran from Skatus, or do they go somewhere else first? In, like, the third book? If you're asking in third book, I don't really know. Third book is the most up in the air right now. The only reason I'm quite certain about book 1 and book 2 is because book 1's first draft is done, and book 2's is, like, I don't know, 75% done. And then I got stuck, which is why I'm here. Alright, we can move over. Whap. Maybe I'm just gonna... There we go. Give myself some freedom to work. And think. I think. Shadows. Brainstorming. That's what we'll say. Okay. Second, I think. You said they go to the portal within, or is that the end of the book? So, in book 2, they do go through the portal, but the portal does not take them to Asteran. They actually think where they need to go is Aerospin, which is the air world. So they end up going there. And then they go to Aquan, and then Torino, and then Infernia, and then back to Skatus, probably. This is the part where I haven't written it yet. But probably back to Skatus. They actually don't go to Asteran probably until at least the end of book 3, or at the end of book 2, or the beginning of book 3. Because as far as they know, according to Skatus, Asteran doesn't exist anymore. It was wiped off the planet, or the universe, the cosmos. Obliterated, destroyed by its own god. And so they don't even think that's a thing. So why would they go over there? It's not a thing. So any troubles or problems they're having have to be coming from the other worlds that they know about. So they go to those worlds. Yep. So they go to those worlds, find Mischief Maker #1, and just kind of follow him around until they start to realize that maybe Astran isn't as poofed as we thought. But I mean, you grew up your whole life, and it's like well-known knowledge. This place does not exist. It was completely, utterly destroyed by its own god. You're not going to naturally think, well, of course we should check this place out. And it's, like, destroyed to the point that the portal gate doesn't exist anymore either. It's, like, destroyed as well. So they couldn't even go there directly from Skatus if they wanted to, unless they did some work. I thought you were dead. My death was greatly exaggerated. Exactly! That's exactly what happens. That's exactly how it is. Alrighty. Okay, so I'm not gonna think canon. I'm just gonna think what would a world of shadows be like, and if there are changes I want to make based off of that. So I'd say a world of shadows, their main source of light would probably be the moon. Yeah, plant life would be based in darkness, not in light, at least only moonlight. Which is interesting because there are some plants that, I mean, all plants need the sun. Not, don't get me wrong there, but some of them only grow in the darkness because it's cooler, like cacti, which is ironic. But anyway, so we've got several terrains here. We've got like Snowy Mountain. Let me get a picture, actually. Let me do some deep Googling. Like tundra at night. That's kind of what I'm thinking here. I love that. Give me that. I don't care how the Aurora Borealis happens naturally. I'm putting the Aurora Borealis into my stuff because I can. Just say it was the spirits or whatever. Who cares? We got a Snowy Mountain region. I'm gonna call it Tundra. I'm just gonna call it Tundra. Tundra region. The magical Borealis. Exactly. Who knows why it's here? It's just here. Something I'm playing around with. I don't know if I want to keep with or not. Night. Treated like day. Day like night. So everyone is nocturnal? Question mark? I just think that would cause too many issues in a story if all of my characters are nocturnal. Borealis of the Damned. Let's see. So we have the... Actually, how do you spell that? Aurora Borealis. Occasionally, the area. Most often covered in darkness. No reach from, very little reach from the moon, I'd say. Very easy to see the stars, which would probably have very big belief implications. Doesn't really make much sense in your story, but a shadow realm being around a white or brown dwarf would be gnarly. A white or brown dwarf? Is that a reference? Is that a reference I don't get? I'm sorry, I'm old. I don't know anything. people would probably have really good night vision. White dwarfs are old stars, though, and supernova, and brown dwarfs are failed stars that are really hot gas giants. At least that's my understanding. Oh, dwarf stars! Oh! I'm so sorry. I thought you meant dwarves like the class, like the D&D species. Like, I thought we were talking about races. I was like, what? What dwarves? The dwarf stars. Okay, gotcha. I gotcha. Oh my gosh, I was not following. I am all for, oh my gosh, so many space themes, which is why everything I make has some sort of weird space theme, or star theme, or anything. Oh golly, the brown dwarf is rising over the horizon. No, you're good. I was like, what? Huh? What are we talking about? You're gonna get me canceled, zombie. What dwarves are we talking about? Oh gosh, okay. Alrighty. Okay, so we got a tundra region. We got a beach region. I'm gonna put a pause on that. I'm gonna come back to that one. That one's not as easy. We got a river region. No, please don't ban. Desert islands. Caves, mountains. Deep forest. Kind of like rainforesty like vibes, I'm thinking. Thinking the forest is so thick, light barely penetrates it. So while you might have light coming from the moon, you're not really getting any of it. Okay. So desert islands once naturally touched Asteran's shore before the fall. Looking at brown dwarfs, they are likely the only objects that can have iron rain. That's rad as heck. Oh my gosh. That's so cool. Until you imagine being there. That would hurt so bad. But imagine the sleep you would get. I can't go to work. It's raining. Yep. Iron again. Iron's in my blood. The iron's in my veins. The iron's in the rain. If we're at iron vaporization temps, I think a little molten iron is the least of your worries. I'll be fine. Genuinely, I wasn't thinking molten iron. I was just thinking, like, little pellets of iron. I don't know why that's the way I was thinking. Like, iron hail. Little pellets of iron. Iron hail, that would be gnarly too. Hmm. How often does the... I don't know how the tide works. Hold on. I'm looking up the tide. NASA, tell me. I don't want to watch your video. Just tell me. Okay. I don't want the explanation right now. Just tell me. It's high tide when it sees the moon. I was thinking that. I'm gonna be right back. Okay. Sorry, guys. Uh, told you I wasn't feeling the best, but I'm fine. This is normal. Um, I've returned. So have I. Funny how that works. We are all back. Maybe. Welcome back, Mountain Lou. Thank you. How was your work? Work good? Work bad? Work meh? Work E. Makes sense. E. Rated E for everyone. I'm sick, so work isn't fun this week. Oh, I'm sorry you're sick. I hope you get better soon. No fun being sick, especially having to work when you're sick. Blech. The worst. Why does it say land Tide rises up to cover much of the land at. What was I saying here? I don't even remember. I think I was looking at tides, and then I wasn't satisfied. So now I'm gonna make everything up. That's usually my plan. Say at high tide. You know, I think it's good to get some some inspiration. Night River. Yes, yes, these are the vibes. Okay. Alright, so usually well lit by the moon. The trees tend to cover the riverbeds. The reflection of the moon, the water is sacred. What that? Why not? Hmm. More brainstorming here. Okay. Well, I don't know, because sometimes night creatures have big eyes, so they can capture all the darkness. And some creatures just have no eyes at all, because it ain't worth it. Could do both. Could do both. Usually caves area. That's what I'm thinking. It's the cave creatures. Cave creatures are just weird. Let me look at some cave creatures here. Cave animals. They're just weird. Okay, I get it. Oxalotls are cave creatures. They look weird. There are other ones. Why are you only showing me... Show me other things. Sure, troglodytes, whatever. Those are too many arachnids. It's listed by, like, that's not genus. Is it genus? No, it's not listed by genus. By, like, phylum. And it's got arthropodia. And then it's got arachnida, and it's just a long list. Disgusting. And they're all blind. Hmm. Anyway, nature was like, oops, all spiders. Exactly. That's too many spiders in the cave. Okay, some of them are scorpions, but that doesn't make it any better. Get out of the cave. Actually, don't get out of the cave. Stay in the cave. Actually, don't go anywhere but the cave. Stay in the cave. You don't need to be out here. No known mammals live exclusively in caves. Most bats sleep in caves during the day and hunt at night. They are considered troglophiles or trogloxines. Interesting. Spiders are icky. The cute little jumping spiders are okay, though. They're okay, but they need to stay away from me. just stay over there, and everything is fine. As long as they are not in my house. That is the important bit. I think you're cute, but I respect your distance, so... Exactly. Unless you want the BAP. Exactly. Natural instincts. You cross into my territory, you die. This is my spot. You stay out of my spot. Or stay out of where I can see you in my spot. Or you die. Well, they try to make a nest in my fur. I don't think they'd like that very much. I mean, I'm moving. Moving and grooving. Also, yuck. No spiders in my fur. I'll just go out in space. Joke's on them. I can breathe there. Unless they are a water pig. And then they're allowed to stay. Or not water pig, water bear. And tardigrade. Tardigrades can stay. Spiders must go. What was it? I don't stick with that. I'm not doing that. They can be whatever color they want to be. This is fantasy. Anyone can be whatever color they want to be. I'm gonna be gray and green and blue. Lime-colored bat. Yes, exactly. I keep having like half a thought and then it doesn't finish, and then I think of something else and it's gone. I feel like that half a thought is important. What is that half a thought? Oh my gosh. Shadows and darkness, and they're living in darkness most of the time, or in moonlight. It was important, I feel like. Or maybe it wasn't. Hmm. Sunlight. Daylight makes more sense. Oh! I think that's pretty good. That's some ideas. And it gives me some starting points for changing things up with book 1, which introduces the most of this world. Since book 2 only really talks about well, book 2 talks about the northern area a little bit. So does book 1. It only briefly talks about the desert islands, but that's fine. Okay. I think this is a pretty good accomplishment. I brainstormed some things. Sometimes brainstorming takes me, it usually takes me a really long time. It's why I keep forcing myself to do this stuff. But we got a map. A map that's actually like digital, plus we got one for Astran, so that's also worked on, so I kind of see what they look like. Before the break. Peep out, pop pop. Thank you for the head pats, zombie. We're making progress. I think at some point I've got to just work on it. Outside of stream, maybe, I don't know, like, spend a day on it or something, which obviously I don't have time to do right now, but that's fine. I don't know how often I'll be doing the world building streams. I don't know if at some point it'll probably take a pause for me to like work on it and then maybe come back or work on other things, but we'll see. I think this is pretty good progress for today. And yeah, I'm satisfied with it. I'm making it more complicated than it needs to be, which is normal. But yeah, good job. Thank you. Yeah. I think I will end it here. It's almost bedtime anyway. Unfortunately, I don't want to go. But yeah, I'm gonna move over here. Thank you all so much for hanging out, chilling, brainstorming, world building, whatever else you were working on, and just hanging out with me. I appreciate the support and the encouragement. And yeah, I hope to work on more, get some good progress in. Some things actually edited at some point. We'll see. But yeah, on Friday we will be continuing Spiritfarer, which is very exciting. Maybe we'll find Gwen, because she ran away from me. But yeah, we'll have to see. I think we'll just go ahead and raid. Getting ready to long stream. Okay, we'll raid Geb's art. So they're doing a long stream, so go ahead and raid them. And here is the raid message if you'd like to use that when we raid. I'm gonna press the wrong button here. So yeah, some more Spiritfarer on Friday, which I'm very excited for, and then probably more art on Monday, but I'll be putting out another stream schedule, obviously, by Sunday for next week. Yeah. I think that's basically it. Yeah, thank you all again. I really do appreciate it. Yeah, I will see you all on Friday, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. Bye! Scribbles Raid!